Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of Rapid Recap here at Inside Nebraska. With me as always is Tim Verghese. I'm Zack Carpenter, and today Matt Rhule spoke at his Thursday post-practice press conference to preview the spring game, talk a little NFL draft, which we won't touch on as the draft commences tonight. No Nebraska players expected to go, obviously tonight or on day 2, and most likely not on day 3. So we'll speed past the NFL draft talk. Only spring game today. Matt Rhule laid out the spring game format and his plans for the quarterbacks. First off, the quarterbacks will not be live at this year's spring game. They'll be obviously in green jerseys, but for the most part, it's pretty much the same plan and format as last year, where Matt Rhule said, we want to play an actual game. And I think a lot of people sort of dismiss, at least college programs across the country, you see that two-hand touch football that they a lot of programs play, and it's like, okay, this isn't even a real game. And I know Nebraska's done that in the past before Rhule got here, but this is an actual game. And I think the underlying message that I got today was Rhule talking about this. Some people look at this as a celebration or a throwaway exhibition game. He said, I don't. He takes a lot from the spring game. So I think if Rhule's going to be taking a lot from it, I think we should too.
Yep. I think what really stuck out to me from him discussing just his plans for the press conference, and
we got the children back.
We have the children again. But I think one thing that really stuck out to me from just him talking about the spring game was the idea that someone had asked about, what does it mean to have like the crowd in there? Like, what type of effect does that have? Is that something you're looking for? And he said, looking back to last year, there were times Tuesday and Wednesday it felt like they played or practiced better than they'd play on Saturday. Different things, nerves leading up to the game, obviously, the fans in the stands, all of that. There is an additional pressure with that many people in the building. And something I didn't really think about, when talking about the spring game is that this is the first time they're going to have all these eyes on it, but there is that additional pressure. And so he's hoping to see, these guys play as fast and loose as they supposedly did in last week's scrimmage. So, I think that's the main thing, is just looking for improvement, looking for improvement specifically in the turnovers category. He touched on that a bunch today. Like you said, there was a bunch last year trying to improve that this year, and hoping, the ball's not on the ground, and also, kind of looking for, offensively just to throw the ball. He talked about a shootout, wants to see them be able to throw the ball, wants to be able to see them spread it out, all these new offensive weapons, just want to see the ball get out to those guys.
Yeah, they had 8 turnovers last year combined in the spring game. They had 2 interceptions and 6 lost fumbles, and then an additional 2 fumbles that were recovered by the offense. So, I mean, last year it was a little rainy, a little gloomy. I don't remember if it was rainy or if it was just sort of gray and a little colder. But then you try to spin zone it, like I always say, and you say, it's the exhibition game in April and yada yada, see how they look in the fall. Well, then retroactively, I guess we should have been taking a lot more away from the spring game than we did at the time. Maybe that's how it's going to be this Saturday. I mean, like you said, maybe we see that. What I'm most curious to see is, no, the quarterbacks will not be live, so anyone wanting to see how Dylan Raiola performs under pressure, Daniel Kaelin performs under pressure of the potential of getting hit at the college level. We know Heinrich Haarberg can take a hit. We saw that all of last season with his playing style, physical playing style. But if you're wanting to see how they do taking hits, you're not going to see that Saturday. But what you might see, I'm really interested to see if they allow Raiola to uncork it, to throw the ball downfield like we've been hearing about all spring, seeing for ourselves on this field a little bit throughout the open practice windows. I imagine we will. Just how much remains to be seen. They talked about he said the Tuesday, Wednesday Huskers were a lot better than the Friday, Saturday Huskers, where it's like, they practice well, they practice hard and physical, but then in the game, it's like, how do you perform when the lights are shining down? I mean, it's a fishbowl. Rhule's never used the term fishbowl, but I know he alludes to it, needing to kill the bear, and that's been his phrase, to get over that hump. This is going to be that next stage for a lot of these guys. Moving on, I mean, not even moving on, staying on the spring game, but I wanted to touch on some players to watch as we as we move forward. I know we talked a lot of offense in these videos throughout spring ball. Talked a little an offensive focus, rapid recap on Tuesday, but still wanted to run through quickly a couple of offensive players to watch. Who are you looking for? Young guys, transfers, veterans. Who are you looking for?
Yeah. A couple. Obviously, got our eyes on a couple. I think more people will be interested in what's happening on the offensive side of the ball than the defensive side of the ball this spring game. For me personally, I think one a little off the board. I'll be keeping a close eye on. I'm watching Graham Bricks. He's come in a little closer to competing than people probably expected coming out of where he is. I mean, obviously everyone knew big physical frame, but coming from the level of competition he was, no one really knew how he'd adjust. He's adjusted relatively well, added some good weight, looks the part. They've tempered expectations in terms of year one expectations for him. Probably not going to see him a whole lot out in the field, potentially some rotational tackle snaps. They're not working him across the line, they're solely working him at tackle, which is going to be better for him in the long run. But I just want to see what he looks like out there against, going up against some of these D linemen. He'll have his handfuls. I imagine he'll see some matchups with Jamari Butler and Prince Will and Cam Lenhart and some of those guys. So, won't be an easy day for him necessarily, but just want to see, the highest ranked tackle from this last class that's going to be entrusted with, potentially being an anchor for this line in the future, how he looks, in his first collegiate action.
Yeah, I know you slipped up, said Prince Will. I know he's limited. I don't think he's going to be playing in the spring game, but with offensive linemen, for me, it's always, with true freshman offensive linemen, it's like I got to see it on the field in the fall to truly believe it, because you hear about development in the spring. We heard about Gunnar Gotula last spring or last fall even, Sam Sledge. Not that they're not developing, I don't think it's usually it's not to the way more often than not. We've talked about this on here. It's a development that's laying a foundation more than them getting on the field. But it will be interesting to see if needed, if Bricks can be a guy they turn to in spot duty at all throughout the season. But for me, I'm going Jalen Lloyd. I mean, you can pick any of the receivers. I don't know how much we'll see of Isaiah Nayor. I know
Demetrius Bell as well. I don't know how much we'll see of those two.
Demetrius Bell, Nayor, and Jamal Banks. I think we'll see him for a series, maybe two, Nayor and Banks. So looking at Ja'Cory Barney, or Jalen Lloyd, for me, it's Lloyd, because he, like we said before, he looks fast. Like that track season coming off of that year. He's a male athlete. He's a Nebraska male athlete finalist, one of the 4 finalists to win their end of season award, and he's going to be out of that slot position. And we saw the explosiveness last year. We saw it for ourselves, but can he take that next step? Can he house? Not even house the play, but can he pull off a chains moving type of catch and run or an explosive off of the quick pass game? Like, boom, Rhule gets it out to Lloyd out of the slot and has a couple blockers. Can he boost his way? Can he accelerate and get through that defense to the tacklers in the open field to more consistently bring that to the offense? And spoiler alert, I think he absolutely will. And I'm excited to see that play out in the fall, but I think we might get a sneak preview of it in the spring game. Forgot to say that on offense. You can't name a quarterback. No quarterback players to watch.
Obviously, if we could, it would be Dylan Rhule. I mean, Dylan's obviously the one everyone's watching, but yeah, I mean, obviously, Joe Lloyd's probably going to be on the receiving end, a couple of Rheul's throws. He talked last week to the media, talked about how this offseason he's been working on trying to become a more complete receiver. Says the speed's always going to be there. The big plays he's always going to be that deep play threat, but he wants to be more than that, wants to develop into more, and that's a work in progress. That's not something that is like ready. That's not something. He's not a more complete receiver now by any means. Even he would say that. That's something he's working on through the summer with Garrett McGuire, with the rest of these receivers. Talked about, like for him, a big focus is getting off of press as a smaller receiver. Talked a little bit about how, having Banks and Neo around, like older guys that have been in, that have developed, releases off the line. Like he's working with them on adding more to his bag, especially second level releases, breaking in and out, getting in and out of breaks at the second level is a big focus for him. So you just want to see how much. Oh, and he also added he did get faster this offseason. He feels between track and the football season and workouts and everything, he feels like he's gotten faster. He said, quote, "Yeah, for sure." So definitely faster. So definitely be looking for him as well.
Yeah, he makes fast people look not fast. So on the defense, though, to run through Tony White's crew, I mean, we're going to see some veterans that get very minimal work, I'm assuming, and expecting, like Ty Robinson, Nash Hutmacher,
Gifford.
Tommy Hill, Isaac Gifford.
Gifford.
I don't think we're going to see much of them, but there are a lot of guys to choose from. Like you go with the Chief Borders, who Rhule says probably the most improved player of the spring. You go MG Sherman. You go all kinds of different directions. Who are you looking for? Your player to watch on the defensive side?
Yeah, the freshman defender that's probably gained the most buzz this spring has been Vincent Shavers, and just want to see what this looks like now. There's been a lot of buzz, a lot of talk, pretty much every single week about him. Kind of what he's looked like in practice. Teammates complimenting him, offensive players, being like, that's a guy that's, he's been new and that's been a tough guy we've had to account for offensively. And even coaches praising him. So he's a guy that I'll be watching closely, like a faster linebacker, has kind of a speed that you don't really have elsewhere in that room. Arrives with intentions, mean intentions.
Mm-hmm.
He's a thumper. So I'm just looking forward to seeing him out there, seeing how many ways they use him, what type of roles, they're looking to use him in the defense. Keeping a close eye on him. Another guy I'm keeping a close eye on, Bly Hill, the transferred corner from St. Francis. That's another one starting to seem like he's kind of running away with that cornerback 2 spot. But just want to see, we've seen him in practice, obviously passes the eye test. We've said, closer to 6'3", 6'4", looks the part physically. How does he look in coverage against some of these faster receivers? How is he doing against a physical receiver like a Jamal Banks or a bigger receiver like Isaiah Neal? Is he able to hold up against those guys? Is his frame able to hold up physically against those guys? How does he look in coverage? How does he look in run defense? So keeping a close eye on him for sure, especially, not expecting to see a whole lot of Tommy Hill, but so that cornerback 2 competition, it's going to be hot and live, I think, on Saturday.
I think Mario Buford's another guy there who would be like an honorable mention candidate for top guys to watch, just because I know we saw him in that team scrimmage session a couple weeks ago that he was getting some work in, going against Isaiah Nair, and allowed the long touchdown to Nair. He's been going from corner to safety, nickel. Evan Cooper's trying him out at a bunch of different positions. Shavers, I saw your tweet, however long ago it was, probably a week ago, that Miami Hurricanes are probably going to regret letting him get out of the state and doing that last minute flip, because I think, he's become what I thought Willis McGahee would be in the spring, like the early buzz. Like I thought McGahee was going to be that guy to be getting the buzz, and Shavers so far, but McGahee's another guy I'm interested to watch. My main player to watch on defense is defensive tackle Riley Van Poppel. I wrote about him on last Friday, as a guy. Actually, no, it was last Sunday. Inside Nebraska.com, great site. Check it out. So Van Poppel, I think, is one of those year 2 breakout candidates. He killed the Bears as a freshman. Like that play against Illinois, that 4th and a foot stop essentially against Illinois, that swung the momentum of that game, swung the momentum of the entire season for at least a short time for Nebraska. That he said that was sort of the moment, the play where he realized he could do this, and like I think he's gonna have a breakout year 2. At least he's the top candidate in my eyes to have that breakout. I don't think sophomore slump's coming for him. We saw him make a couple plays where if quarterbacks were live, we would have seen him have at least a sack, if not 2, during that scrimmage. And the other guy really interested to focus in on is Kai Wallen, because he's a guy that we don't really talk about that often, and like honestly, we never talk about him, like ever. And he's a guy who he comes here from Sacramento, from junior college, spends a year developing, and last year he had a largely unnoticed but really quality spring game, and it was toward the end of the game. I think he had a sack, maybe a couple TFLs or nice plays. I don't remember his official stat line. I just know he was in the backfield making some noise as on that defense, and have heard that he might be taking some reps at Jack. I don't know if that's a locked-in spot for him. If
he's one of those unique, versatile bodies that can kind of spin down further from that jack position to the line. Like that's a guy you can get up right on the line as like in a 2-point stance, or potentially get his hand in the dirt, can move across the line. Just a really versatile frame, and there's talent. Again, there's talent in that frame. So just I agree.
I'm interested to see the development there with Terrence Knighton or maybe Rob Dvorak working with him. I know anytime we've seen him, he's been a hand in the dirt defensive line guy at practice, like the times we've seen. I would expect that to be the case in the spring game, but maybe not. Who knows? That's the fun.
Yep.
That's why we do this. That's why we go out and watch the games. It's not played on paper, but it'll be fun to watch. That's just some of the guys. We could go on and on because there are a lot of true freshmen.
A lot of names to keep an eye on. A lot of new guys.
Yep. To be watching on Saturday, 11:05 a.m. Central on Big Ten Network and Huskers Radio Network. About 54,000 tickets sold so far, or was it 56,000? Either way, it was in the mid 50,000s, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if we're going to see that 80,000 number like at the Ohio State spring game where everyone freaked out about how high the attendance number was for a spring game. We'll see if that's the case on Saturday. Hopefully it's a nice day. Hopefully it's not raining, but it'll be nice to see not a two-hand touch and physical, real football for every position except for the quarterbacks and on the special teams, as Rhule said today. But encourage you guys to like this video, subscribe to the Inside Nebraska YouTube channel so you can get every video from our spring game coverage on Saturday dropped directly into your feed. We'll have a pregame video or two possibly, and then we'll have press conference, post-game press conference video and more analysis like this one right after the spring game. So for Tim Verghese, I'm Zack Carpenter. We'll catch you guys again next time.